Hello and welcome. You're tuned to the League Up and we are live. This is a huge day, momentous occasion coming to you deep in the depths of CAB head office here in Petone. And if this is your first time joining us, my name's Thad Taylor, your host, and I'm joined by Mr. CAB podcast, firstly, Paul Moati. How are you, Paul? How was the New Year period?
Oh, it was very, very good. Yeah, got a wee bit of a break. Plenty of sunshine.
Back a winner?
Had a bit of a break. Plenty of sunshine.
Look, any highlights for you over the Christmas New Year period and racing-wise?
I guess it was just great to see the crowds back at Ellerslie.
Yeah.
Wilcox and his team up there have been doing it tough the last few months or so. So just great to see the atmosphere and the crowds getting in. I know we've got Telegraph this weekend, but the next weekend I'm sure there'll be a big crowd there at Ellerslie for the Karaka Million night, and the boys get paid team who are taking a whole caravan load of punters in.
Yeah, and a bit of cash too, I would have thought.
Yeah. I guess we're going to be mentioning the Punters Club a wee bit later and how you can get involved.
Yeah, we'll touch on that. Now, you've got a new nickname, I've heard. Paul the Party Moati. Is this we're running with this, are we?
No, we're not running with this.
Okay.
Where were you last night?
Good morning to Stephen Hunt, our expert odds analyst. Stephen, how are you?
Very good, Thaddeus. Very good, mate.
Good period over the new year. You were working right through,
Yeah, busy, but wouldn't want to be doing anything else. It's a great time of the year. Decent horses, decent races. As Whitey mentioned, around the crowds, not just at Ellerslie, but up and down the country, and our what you'd call provincial meetings rather than the premier days, particularly down the west coast, etc., which we've had in the last 10 days. And that was probably the key point. Obviously on Trivia winning the railway was the highlight in terms of the pinnacle of Group 1 over the 1200 metres. We'll talk about that race in more depth when we mention around the Telegraph, but that would probably have to be the highlight outside a little maiden win at Te Araha on the 3rd of January over 1,000 metres for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, wasn't a bad one. Kabuji you're referencing here. I hope he bossing.
Yeah, no, it was a good win. There was a bit of expectation. Obviously, a short SP and what he'd done at the trials leading in, 2 trials for 2 wins, but he got the job done. It was a nice ride from Opie, and the horse managed to go through a tight gap, which you like to see, making its debut as a juvenile.
What did he close at?
$1.40, $1.50. Irrelevant, really. It wasn't about the price.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to go through that tight gap again, though, necessarily.
Look, in his trials he had led and sit outside the lead in 2 trials to date. So, look, he missed the start fractionally, got caught in an awkward position, 3-back rail, but he had Opie on and he didn't panic, and about the 200 got the split. And it was good to see. He learnt a lot out of that race, knowing that he had to pinch through that gap, and he got a bit of a bump from the stablemate who was going backwards at the 150, and his best work was the last 50 and through the line. Okay,
very good. He's one to watch, Kabuji. Now, we're missing someone, Paul, aren't we? There's a lack of there's one member missing here.
Exactly, the Group 1 performer.
Yeah, exactly. We might be struggling without him, to be fair.
We are struggling.
He fills some airtime, doesn't he?
He certainly does, and he always has the good oil.
He does. Yeah, he does. He doesn't.
It's that northern oil that just doesn't come down to the bookies in Wellington.
Yeah, somehow it gets stopped at the border somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Still on holiday?
I think so, isn't he? Is he still on holiday?
Yeah.
He just probably deserves one, in fairness. He worked right through, I suppose.
He did. I think he enjoyed the concert last weekend. Dave Dobbin in the Hawke's Bay.
Oh, where was he?
Black Barn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll welcome him back.
We'll welcome him back with open arms, won't we, next week for Karaka Million night, isn't it? Next weekend. But we've got plenty to look forward to at Trentham. But before we do, even though in BP's absence, we still want to find a maiden of the week, and Pops didn't want to let this one go by. He's had a few dollars invested. I would have picked It's Glory Bound, Paul.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago at Matamata, and boy, did she just go whoosh. Left them for dead, and I believe she's in the Oaks futures market.
Yeah, she put them away there in the airline. Strong on the line, Steve. Run us through your analysis of that performance, and perhaps with a half an eye on the Oaks.
Yeah, well, that race rated 1.7 lengths below par, but look, the way she won, she settled 3rd, 2nd last. Craig managed to get her off the rail halfway through running, covered a lot of ground from the 600 to the finishing post, and still ran the 2nd fastest last 600 of the meeting. Big powerful mare by Tavistock out of a Volksrad mare, the Tidy Express. I think the Tidy Express won 5 races and placed in a couple.
Won a Group 1, didn't it? Or won a Group 1?
I think she won a Group 1. She placed in a couple of cup races, the Waikato Cup and the Hawke's Bay Gold Cup. So naturally on pedigree, not just on the side but on the dam line, should get over a decent trip. And If you look in the Oaks market there, she was $16 prior to the victory on Wednesday, now shaved into $10. Ballon Rouge, which won on Boxing Day at a $7 line. And the current favourite, now the Perfect Pink at $5, Thad.
Good resuming run.
Yeah, just peaked in the last 50 at Ellerslie on Sunday. The Perfect Pink on the back of winning the 1,000 guineas. Look, we've had a lot of money around the Perfect Pink since Sunday or post-Sunday for the Derby. At around about a $16 quote. It's been shaved into $10 for the Derby. So, I'm not sure where this horse is heading. Indications maybe the Derby and the Oaks, or maybe just the Derby and heading towards Australia. So just keep an eye on where the Perfect Pink may be leaning towards. But $5 for the Oaks, dominant fave. Well, not dominant fave, but a $5 fave. But interest around the Derby, around the Perfect Pink. But you go back to Glory Bound, a $10 pot. Just back on Wednesday at Mudda, you also had Cocophonics, who won the other 1,400 metre maiden race. That's a horse to follow. By Done Deal, a well-bred type. If you're just comparing Cocophonics race 2, the 1400V Glory Bound, it was 2.9 lengths superior to Glory Bound, so one horse to follow.
Okay. Cacophonics. What out of the Asterix books? That wasn't he the Bard in Asterix? Cacophonics, Paul? You would have read Asterix books as a boy.
Oh, one or two.
Yeah.
But just on that, the futures markets, of course, we've got the future-proof promotion. So you can back the Perfect Pink with a wee bit of confidence, knowing that
if it doesn't
line up, you can get your money back up to $50 as a bonus bet.
That's been really popular, hasn't it? Up to $50, is it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And you can back as many runners as you like in the futures markets. And if they don't make the final field,
you get money back up to 50.
Might be a year for the 3-year-old fillies to have a shot in the Derby, because there's no real dominant 3-year-old colt or gelding thus far over a staying trip. So that can change. We can see a horse really spike and come through both guineas, the Waikato guineas and also the Avondale guineas in a few weeks' time. But as it stands right now, you've got a $10 fave.
Do we know who that is off the top of your head?
The O'Sullivan Scott horse.
Yes.
Dark Destroyer at a $10 price, and the Perfect Pink is also at $10, so you've got a filly equal fave currently for the Derby.
Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, and if she does go that way, you'd think, from what Stephen says, she might be very, very competitive. Right, the Leg Up's purpose is to have a look at the preview, the big racing on Saturday, and we like to look at the main races. 4 races we're going to have a look at today, and the first one, Steve, is the anniversary, the Dixon and Dunlop anniversary handicap over the 1,600 metres, Group 3.
Well back fave here in Coventina Bay, has to carry the 60 kegs, open $2.50, been shaved into $2.40 and including a $2,000 bet at the top flucker 2.5. In front of Banker's Choice. Now Banker's Choice 330 out to 380. Was down to run today at Todong. It's been scratched.
Yeah.
So it looks to take its part here in the anniversary. So we might just see a little bit of money now around Banker's Choice at 3.8. And Not of the Head $6 third line. Providence Provides $9 out of turn. Red Hussar also out of turn to 9. Double figures round Germanicus 15 to 13, well played. Pep Talk always well played, in particular when it races at Trentham 21. Got as short as 18, just back out to the original price of 21. Time to Celebrate 21 out to 41. London Bound Ranky 31 also out to 41. So overall summary, Coventina Bay well played 250 into 240. Speaking around Germanicus and Pep Talk.
Yeah, she's got the 60 kgs here, Paul, Coventina Bay, but. The resuming win was pretty strong.
That was a very, very classy win. When beating Taffy Mac last time out. She won the Cuddle last season, so track, tick, distance, tick. Only just beaten by Avantage at Group 1 level last year. Yep. She did look back to her best last start, and that big, long, wide-open straight at Trentham should suit her. She shouldn't find any trouble, and we should see her flying down the outside. She does look a very, very good bet, Coventina Bay.
Yeah, $2.40. Look, good that Banker's Choice is back in this field, though, Steve. He's been absolutely flying. The win at Ellerslie last time's very strong. Yeah,
I suppose the question mark coming into this preparation around the horse was how was he going to feel on the firmest tracks, and he's put that to bed, in particular in his last 2 starts at Te Rapa. He ran slashing closing sectionals and really did set up that win at Ellerslie on the back of that performance at Te Rapa. 53 kegs, he's okay placed in terms of his rating of 79. it'll be interesting to see where he shapes in terms of open class races, because he's been rating in the lower grade races, but he looks okay placed at 53, and he deserves a choice. The question mark 53 kegs on Banker's Choice, just not sure who's going to ride this individual as yet. It's a difficult weight for a lot of jockeys to get a senior jockey on a premier day. As I mentioned, he was scratched out of Tauranga today. So it looks set that Banker's Choice will take his place. Just not sure about a ride around that individual.
Okay, who else is in this? Who else is in your frame here, Paul? In this mark at the anniversary?
Well, I don't mind the look of Red Hussar. Looks like he's just drifted out from 8 to 9. He's been slow away in his 2 starts this prep, but he just looks to have a wee bit of class about him. So I don't mind the look of Red Hussar. 8 out to 9.
Yeah, okay, $9 there.
The key about that horse is up to 1,600. That's where his best figures are. And I like that Jodlin Gal form line at Ellerslie. It was a strong race in terms of figures.
He had some good sectionals there too.
Yeah, he did. He ran home the fastest 6 400-metre splits in that particular race. Just a sense of timing, third up to 1,600. Again, well suited in terms of open handicap conditions, and he wasn't too far off a couple of handy gallopers last prep, including Gold Watch, so he might be a horse with just a sense of timing looking to step up to open class.
Okay, well, when I first looked at this market, I was thinking Coventry Bay all day, but the more I look at it, 60 kilograms, all these horses down on 53, and there's some quality gallopers here. I mean, Providence Provide, boxed on well in a Rich Hill. Was it a Rich Hill last start on New Year's Day?
Yeah, Rich Hill, yeah.
It got Savage to sort of up on the speed. I thought if it could get a little bit of a softer time in front, it could play a part.
That's the key. The first 1,000 they ran 59 and 14, which was 8.5 lengths above par.
Yeah.
So just the race shape was totally against Providence Provides, or any horse that was within a length of Providence Provides in running. So it did really set up for those neutral to back markers in the Rich Hill, which we saw. There doesn't look to be that much pressure in the race. I think Providence Provides gets the default lead, and with Cozzy aboard, I think he can rate this horse a lot easier, a lot better than what he did at Ellerslie. So if he can just rate this horse up front, it might be a hard horse to catch. I think 16 no dramas around Providence Provides, and with 53 kegs, just profiles nicely. It's all about how it sets itself up in the first half of the race.
Okay. You got any money left in your pockets, your deep pockets for Germanicus? Because someone has here, Paul.
I see there's been a move there. Someone's confident.
Yeah, well, what do we say about Germanicus? It's been a little while between drinks.
Well, his last win was in this race 2 years ago.
Right.
Albeit that was set weights and penalties when he had to carry 55 kegs. It's down to 53, naturally, which it hasn't had a win for over 2 years. So maybe back to its home ground, you could say, or hunting ground. So, interesting runner. Look, we know the abilities there in Germanicus. He can just let punters down at the wrong time, and probably just has that short, sharp turn of foot where he needs things to work out and be held up at the right time and explode in the last 200. So, look, the ability's there. I'm not going to knock the horse totally, but as I mentioned, he hasn't won for what, two years in this race in 2020. So,
okay. Nod of the Head's the other one, Steve, that we need to talk about. You've always had a little bit of time for Nod of the Head.
The Lisa combo.
The Lisa combo. You could do worse than that.
Yeah. I think that's the key around Providence. Nod of the Head. Nod of the Head can be quite a strong or tough ride. Had the claimer on last start. Things didn't quite work out when it was beaten in a short price fave. Jonathan Riddell naturally has ridden this horse for the majority of this campaign and earlier on in its career, Nod of the Head. So it needs a strong jockey. It gets that with Lisa Allpress. With 53 kegs, you're given a strong jockey. So there's a nice little matchup around Nod of the Head and Lisa there. $6. I've got no doubt the figures it's produced, particularly at the Hawke's Bay Carnival, and just sometimes he can go off his game. He can play up prior to the race, going into the machine before the start. So if you want to play him, maybe just back him late and just see how he presents in the parade ring and getting to the start. But no doubt he's got the ability, and I wouldn't be surprised if everything works out, he could put this field away quite easly. But is
there any query at the 1,600 at the mile as yet, or you think he's going to get it pretty easily?
I think he will get it in time. What's he be by Perrin Canto out of an Oaks winner? So the pedigree's there to suggest 1,600, but he can be quite a hard ride and burst that energy before he gets to the business end of a race when he's called on for the last 6-4-2 split. So if he can learn to settle with Lisa doing the riding there and hold him up and naturally have that explosive turn of foot at the end of the race, he's right in the finish, Nod of the Head. It's just about his performance leading into the race and whether he can just learn to settle midway through.
Okay, and I see a bit of money for Pep Talk, Paul. It's knocked me out of a few trebles and quaddies at Trentham over Cup and Telegraph period. Bob's up when you least expect it, perhaps, Pep Talk.
Are you suggesting that the sad day is one of those days
Well,
where...
just seeing a little a little tickle for Pet Talk, and I don't mind backing it at Trentham, obviously. And as I say, it's won at some big prices there.
It has. You just keep getting drawn back to the top of the market, and Coventina Bay and Banker's Choice. It's very, very hard not to see one of those two saluting the judge. So
interesting to see the money for Coventina Bay this time, Steve, because first up was Friendless. Got out to a huge price. I don't know what. Obviously there was that sort of doubt in the marketplace with her coming back from Australia, where we didn't see the best of her, let's be fair, and we just didn't know where she was placed. And obviously she had bigger assignments in mind than her first up win at Awapuni, but boy, was she put into bed quite well.
She did. Look, she's carried 58 kegs to victory twice, so she has to step up to 60, a zone that she hasn't won before in terms of weight carrying. You go back to the Challenge Stakes win first up, this preparation. Like you say, she had that residual fitness from Brisbane, which she needed because she struck an off track that day, but the key around that victory is that you had the sun beaming down on race day and the improving track. And I think by around about mid-afternoon, you had an upgrade, and punters invested on Coventina Bay late in the piece. But by that time, it was a winning result for the tab.
2.4, 60
she's clearly
kgs.
the highest rated galloper in the race. You could almost say outside her, it's a glorified rating 85. With a rating of 101, it's 17 rating points superior than the next best, which is Germanicus, and Time to Celebrate. So she deserves a weight of 60 kegs. I think she'll be around about 90-95%. She won't be fully screwed down, knowing that it's been about 4 or 5 weeks between runs, and also her grand final in 2 weeks' time to Thornton Mile, which she sits in that second elect at $4, and she'll be better placed at set weights and penalties, not being a Group 1 winner thus far. So,
Thornton Mile starting to just shape up, isn't it? We've got some horses that are not actually officially nominated, but look like they may be nominated in that last round of acceptances. They're in the market. 2 illicit, I think.
Concert Hall.
Chosen One?
Did I see
that?
There's a bit of talk. We had an inquiry through the help desk yesterday to quote the Chosen One, which is officially not nominated. There's a question mark about Agon, the stablemate, coming down, being back to 1,600 metres at Group 1. So, and you add Coventina Bay. Amadalini is a question mark. I think Amadalini might be targeting the Westbury next Saturday at Ellerslie, whether it would back up 7 days later, I'm not too sure. So it's really starting to heat up as a ripping race, which it needed to. There's only 3 black type races on Cup Day at Wellington, and the Wellington Cup, you'd say, is just lacking a little bit of quality, to say the least. So if the Thornton Mile can get those horses we're talking about or mentioned, that could be the highlight race of the carnival.
No, it's just starting to shape that way. Well, righto, Paul, surmise it. Tell us where you're going to be investing your hard-earned in this year's anniversary.
Coventina Bay on top. Banker's Choice, now that...
we know it's in.
Yes. Yeah.
We're pretty sure it's in.
Pretty sure it's in?
Well,
don't have a jockey.
At scratch today, we just need to know a jockey.
Okay.
Right. Coventina Bay, Banker's Choice, Red Hussar and Nod of the Head.
Okay, so Red Hussar's your value runner there, obviously.
Yes.
And you're happy with 60 kilograms for Coventina Bay, obviously.
Well, I don't think you could ever be happy with 60 kilos, but she showed last time out that she looks to be getting back to her best.
Yeah, okay, no doubt about it. That was a devastating performance. Steve, which way would you go if you had to have a bet here in the anniversary?
Ooh, I'd take on Coventina Bay at the price. I had her a fraction longer. 250 into 240 is a little bit skinny for me. I'll be looking at Red Hussar, Nod of the Head. I'd want to be seeing Nod of the Head like I mentioned on the day. But I think Red Hussar's got a bit of timing about her. Stepping up to 1,600 metres, third up. I really do like that Jodlin Gal form line. I think there'll be plenty of form / winners coming out of that race.
Okay, so not as easy as it first might seem, the anniversary this year. And as I said, there's money for Germanicus at $13. There's money for Pet Talk at $21. And there's money for the favourite at $2.40.
Many a favourite found trouble at Trentham.
Yeah, that's true. They've called it the graveyard on the odd occasion, haven't they?
They have indeed.
If it's not the Champagne Turf, it's the graveyard. So your fingers crossed for Coventina Bay that she can get the job done. Guys, we need to move on to race number 6 on the card. It is the Life Direct Wellington Guineas, Steve, over the 1,400 metres. Quite a short price favourite here.
Paranui Bay won its first 3, got beat in the Uncle Remus last start by a useful 3-year-old. $2, even money on opening on Wednesday afternoon. Thad been backed into $1.90, so well played Paranui Bay. In front of Seamus, unbeaten for the Alan Sharrock stable, $3.30. Had a couple of turns to 3.6. Waiwodu Cove, $9 into 8. Sassy Merlot, 9 out to 10. Double figures around Blissful Bell. Well played here for Lee Sorpress John Barry. 26 into 14 for Blissful Bell. Habana 13 out to 15. She has the same price as Shepherd's Delight, also a firmer, 17 into 15. And best of the rest has been a pleasure at $51. So again, overall summary, best backed in terms of dollars invested. Sits with the favourite in Paranui Bay. Firmers in the middle market. Blissful Bell and Shepherd's Delight.
Yeah, okay. Interesting money. There was money for Shepherd's Delight in that. Was that the 1,000 guineas that ran second in Steve Shepherd's Delight?
100%.
Yeah, right. Okay. And I see money again, so that's interesting out at $15. Blissful Bell, the other one you mentioned there, also a losing result. And John Barry, last start winner and maiden. So there's the value potentially. Paul,
He's got you, boys.
Yeah, it's not the first time John Barry tucked us up with it.
That just tweaked my interest.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be right up your alley, that sort of money, wouldn't it?
Big time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, how are you assessing it? I mean, Paranui Bay just beaten last time, but hasn't done a lot wrong, has it?
No, and beaten by a very good one on the bubbles.
Right, yes, of course.
So, yeah, I'm happy to get back on. I just been, look, didn't get too many favours last time, but was still beaten by a very good one on the bubbles. I thought his win 2 starts back was full of merit. Pikey will have him ready to go. I see he's just been tweaked in from 2 to 190.
Yes.
Have we found the bottom of the market for?
I don't think we're too far off. I can't see him closing around about $1.70 or $1.75. So whether he gets down to $1.80, I'm not 100% sure. I think he's around about that $1.90 as a bottom price. He might even touch even money on race day.
Yeah, okay, $1.90. Seamus Steve, the unbeaten gelding by Sham Express for Alan Sherrick. You're talking about trainers that can tuck you up. What do we make of Seamus?
Okay, so look, hard to knock a horse that's won 3 from 3 out of that barn, but if you're just looking on figures purely against Paranui Bay, he's got to find 2.2 lengths to match Paranui Bay. On his last 2 performances, Seamus, he's hit exactly the same figure. So whether he can improve, I'm not sure, but I don't totally want to knock that he can't, only having the 3 starts. And Alan's fantastic at working back from a feature race, which he's striking today or tomorrow in the Wellington Guineas at Group 2 level. So, but just on pure figures from what Seamus has produced in its last 2 starts and what Paranui Bay's been setting this time in, he's got to find 2.2 lengths Seamus, and that's naturally maybe the reason for the drift. He's drifted $3.30 out to $3.60 Seamus, but he will have his supporters. He's got a strong SP profile. He comes out of a punting stable. A lot of punters will be willing to back him, knowing that he hasn't found his ceiling potentially winning 3 from 3.
Well, he was on the heavy last time, wasn't he? So does that factor in? Like he's going to get a better track?
It doesn't factor in the figures. My figures kind of adjust for the track conditions. Yep. It'd be intriguing to see which way this horse goes, and I think the stable will be told a lot post this event, whether they keep him at 1,600 metres, maybe work back from a Levin Classic in March, or progress towards a Derby, because he's well in commission for the Derby. I think he's round about mid-teens, $14, $12, $14 Seamus. Pedigree would say no, but there has been horses perform in a Derby. Wahid, for example, that wasn't bred to go 2-4.
Yeah, okay.
He's won on more surfaces than Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. He's from a heavy 11 to a dead 4.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't mention Djokovic here, were you?
Who?
No one's mentioning
okay.
exactly. No one's mentioning him.
Yeah,
We don't want to get caught on camera talking about Djokovic, do we? We'll keep that to ourselves. For hopefully, everyone's been taping us prior to the show. Look, plenty of winning form here, Paul. Obviously, and there's a lot of last start maiden winners. White Owl Cove was good. Obviously, we've touched on Blissful Bell. Are they sort of in your frame here anywhere? Yeah,
but Blissful Bell was definitely in the top 4 for mine, just with the amount of action that we've seen come early on. I'm very, very happy to follow John Barry when money's on. As you say, Wyrell Cove, still learning the game, but definitely has huge potential. And I thought the win at Matamata just before Christmas was very, very good. But yes, once again, I just keep looking towards the top of the market.
You like that strong form. I mean, Steve, it is quite hard when you've got these last start maiden winners to sort of potentially line them up against a listed and stakes performer like Paranui Bay. How did you find this? I mean, Sassy Merlot was good last time, and there's been some impressive maiden performances amongst this field.
Yeah, Wairuru Cove and Blissful Bell, two horses that really need to improve on what I saw in the maiden victories. But again, the young horses, you don't want to totally say that they can't improve. Stepping up to Group 2 quality, Wairuru Cove, as impressive it was on the eye, has to improve 4 lengths off the figure it produced at Mudda. It wasn't it didn't smash the clock at Mudda, even compared to the other maiden races on the day. So, but look. He did win by a decent margin. What was it? Just over 5 lengths. So on the eye was very impressive. Comes out of the right stable to improve and bounce off that maiden win. And is a full brother to a Group 1 winner, the 1,000 guineas performer last year in Karma Lass. So has a bit going for it. Blissful Bell, similar profile in terms of figures. Needs to find 4.2 lengths off its maiden win to be competitive around the Paranui Bays and Seamuses. The horse I'm going to stick with here is that Sassy Merlot.
I wanted to talk about this, was what happened last time.
Just forgive it, don't you?
You forgive.
Tell us why.
Well, on eye, you'd be disappointed, but you go back and you assess the race. And the Uncle Remus went out even fractions, so it wasn't a sit and sprint, ran solid sectionals, which the horse wanted to do. I think that was the key about riding it, but just hung the whole way, just sucked up too much energy, right-handed at Ellerslie, hung the whole way and had nothing left in the tank in the last 6.42. So back left-handed. At this stage, if you're looking at all the horses, it has the second best figure outside Paranui Bay, which it produced Sassy Merlot in the rating 65.14 at Te Rapa a few weeks ago. So if she can bring that figure to what she performed at Te Rapa, back left-handed, I think she can put herself in the race again, maybe 1-2 in the map. Again, run even fractions. I think that's the key to ride her. Blinkers go on. You may see a different horse, or you may see the same horse to what was represented at Te Rapa.
Did you have Sassy Miller in your frame, Paul, at all? Or?
Just outside the top 4.
Okay. You're forgiving?
It wouldn't surprise me, though, to see her up in there, giving them a good go over the final field.
Yeah, okay. And look, those two at $15, Steve, you probably should mention Habana as one. Can't knock a horse that's won 2 in a row and been impressive. And obviously Shepherd's Delight is a Group 1 place getter. Yeah,
Shepherd's Delight, she just had to carry a big weight even though she got the claim last start. She needed the run. She's a big improver, and no surprise she's been spec'd at a longer price. Shepherd's Delight. She may even go in a little bit firm at $15 on the back of her figure in the Group 1 1,000 guineas. Shepherd's Delight. Habana. Look, the form's been franked in the last 24 hours. She beat a horse called Valetti, who came out and won at Mudda on Wednesday, so there's a bit of a form reference around Habana. Again, just not sure about the quality stepping up to 1,400 for the very first time, but look, son of Zoostar, a colt. They'll be chasing some valuable black type and deserves its place in the field, but maybe one horse where you could see drift where Shepherd's Delight could firm.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Paul, surmise the guineas for us here. Give us a top 4, please.
Paranui Bay.
You're strong on that, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Seamus, Blissful Bell and Wairau Cove.
Following that John Barry money, I see. Very sneaky. Very sneaky.
The key with the fave, it's finally drawn a gate, right?
Yeah, it's been some
so
terrible gates, 3 wide everywhere. Yeah, okay.
Whether they want to take a trail or even go forward and lead, they've just got plenty of options from that gate where previously they haven't had those.
And you think Sassy Merlot's a nice little bit of each way potentially in the race?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think she will start double figures. What she's gone 9 out to 10. Again, she'll be in the first 2 and running. I think the key blinkers on left-handed.
Okay, we better move on, boys. Look, we're on like live time now. We can't just swan it around like we used to. And
well, this is the thing. Sometimes you hear jockeys complain there was no speed in the race. Well, there's no speed in this thing.
Right, we need to up the ante, up the energy. Rightio, race number 7 on the card. Let's do it. There's the Trentham Stakes, the Mode Technology Trentham Stakes, Group 3 over the 2100. Steve, a nice field assembled, and probably half of them in an eye on a Wellington Cup potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Current equal fave here we'll touch on in the short term around the middle market, but headed by House of Cardi at $2.70. Overall, this market is very static, low on turnover, so currently House of Cardi hasn't budged from the opening line at $2.70. Hypnos has gone out of turn 4.50 to 5. Sherwood Forest 5 out to 5.50. Camino Ricoso 10 into 9. One-time winner in this race. Hunter Pence, 9 out turn to 10. Mohaka, 10 out to 11. Wasaki, now he's gone in from 15 to 12. Currently sits as an equal fave for the Wellington Cup in 2 weeks' time. Akoya making a step up, 21 to 17. The best of the rest is on the rocks at 26. So no lead, a few turns in and out just to tidy up the overall percentage. But House of Cardi dominates the market, $2.70.
Look, she does look well placed, Paul. You'd have to say if that last run had 59 drops back, to 54. What are your initial thoughts here in the Trentham Stakes?
Yeah, she just didn't look her best in the Zabille, to be fair, House of Cartier. But that was a strong run in the Martin Cup when finishing runner-up. So she does look prime for this one. And you get the price as well at 270.
You can't have Camino. You got Camino Rico. What do we do with Camino Rico? So dominated them in the Nuggets. He's won the race before. I've stopped trying to catch
another Southern Raider who's looking to come up over the Wellington Cup Carnival and
pinch the money.
Yeah, take a few Northern dollars back with that bag of gold nuggets that he got. So
he was good, wasn't he? He was very good.
As Steve said, won the 2020 edition of this race.
I think so. Similar profile to Germanicus in retrospect.
Okay.
But.
Yeah. Okay, well, he was very good. But your House of Cartier, Steve, look, Hypnos was good. He steps out in distance for the first time, does he? This is going to be a test, but we know the quality of the horse. Yeah,
he ran 2000 at Flemington. I think he placed second or third and also finished second in an Easter Cup over 2,100 metres. 2,000 metres, this has been 2,100. So he has stepped over ground previously last campaign, Hypnos, in the late part of the autumn. I just think he's a hard horse to place now. He's high in the ratings. He's not quite good enough for weight for age, now elite level. And then when you drop him to handicap conditions, he's having to carry a heavy weight. So he is a hard horse to place. Set weights and penalties, I think, is ideal. So this is a nice race for him. First time over ground. I've got no knock on that horse. The stable will have that right in terms of fitness levels. He's a genuine chance. I've got him in my top two, Hypnos. He's in the top two in the market. I've got no real knock about him purely because he finds the right race in terms of weights and measures at set weights and penalties.
Hypnos in the frame here, Paul?
Yeah, definitely in the frame. And the third lighter beating Sherwood Forest, the Derby winner. Just hasn't quite gone on since then.
Quite short on the market yet. Sherwood Forest at 550. I know the run was improved. Was at the Topo Cup, I presume, there where he ran third.
Yeah, and that race was run at a ripping tempo, set up by Bowden. Ryan Elliott went far too hard on Bowden. I think it was like 16 lengths above par for the first half of the race. So naturally it's set up for the likes of Sherwood Forest, who got back, charged late. Hunter Pence, similar profile, got back, charged over the line to win the Taupo Cup. So they had things to work out on that day, Hunter Pence and Sherwood Forest. This is a genuine step up from the Taupo Cup. As I mentioned, House of Cartier looks very well placed on weights and measures, shapes perfectly. For the majority of this campaign, the favourite House of Cartier, it's either at weight for age, where it might be a couple lengths off the best weight for age at Group 1, hasn't disgraced itself, and then in handicap conditions, a bit like Hypnos, it's having to carry 58, 59 and 60 kegs and being more than competitive. So again, set weights and penalties, the highest rated galloper in the race at 98 rating points, 1 kg off the minimum at 54 kegs. She looks the best placed horse up and down the day at Trentham.
Yeah, okay.
What about Waisaki?
I know. What do they know here?
I know the big prize is in 2 weeks' time, but look, there's been a smattering of money from a punting stable.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of John Barry-esque for you in terms of potentially following that money.
Well, it seems like I think he's ready to go.
Gee, can't be far away, but he'd have to turn it around, Steve, a little bit. I mean, we know how good he is. He loves Trentham.
He went on the stay last year, rating 74.22. So again, this is a step up in terms of what he faced 12 months ago, but he loves the track, as you mentioned, loves the joint. I think he's had, 6 starts for 4 wins. Waisaki, 6 starts for 4 wins, Waisaki. Look, he's been beaten 4 starts this time in on an average of 9 lengths. So he's been well and truly smacked this time in. Look, he doesn't have to win this race, but you've got to see improvement. You've got to see him hitting the line stronger than most, because he has to carry 59 kegs in the Wellington Cup.
Oh, right.
So he's got to be showing some improvement this time in, because 59 is not an easy task around 2 miles at Trentham in 2 weeks' time. So, like I say, he doesn't have to be winning this race there, but you'd want to see a definite improvement and hitting the line stronger than most, and hopefully in that first 4 or 5 Waisaki, but he has been firmed in that middle market, 15 to 12.
Yeah, the action says to me we're going to see an improvement.
Yes, exactly. You'd be surprised not to see an improvement with the amount of money we've seen, Paul.
I'm certainly going to have a little each way go on Waisaki tomorrow.
Okay, look, I mean, they made an absolute dead set fortune off him last year over this carnival. So, I mean, why not Waisaki? We know his quality and we know he loves Trentham. Aiden's horse, number 10, Steve. How do I say it?
Akoya.
Akoya, that's it.
Akoya.
You've got
Nice.
it. Yeah, well done. Yeah, look, money at odds. I mean, it'd be a step up, but looks a talented mare.
She does. Well bred, being a half to a Group 1 winner, Akoya, and she ran a nice figure at Hawke's Bay for that particular grade. What was it, 65 grade? She disappointed her fractionally when she was a short price fave, ran about 3 to 1 at Mudda, but look, down in the set weights and penalties, she would have been better suited at open handicap. That's not lie, but she does have a little bit of progressive nature around Akoya. Whether it's around about 6 or 12 months' time for a race like this, I'm not too sure. There's a big syndicate involved, so money indicating that they're keen to back her at 21 into 17, but I think that money will dry up during the day and you might get $20 north on race day.
Yeah, okay, interesting. $17 Akoya. Paul, which way did you go here in the Trentham Stakes?
House of Cardia on top.
Yep.
I've had to put Waisaki in there. The money has tweaked my interest.
It's your blissful bell bet, isn't it?
Are you on track on Saturday?
I will be.
Can you give us the info if there's word around on track around Waisaki? Just feed it through here because I think that's the key. I think Alan getting on track if he's ready to go the horse.
They'll know about it.
There'll be plenty of chat.
If there's one stable I'll be following over this carnival, it'll be the Sharrock Barn. So
just don't forget us. We'll be back in the office here.
Yeah, Waisaki in there, Hypnos as well, and then Sherwood Forest.
You sure? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I thought maybe, I don't know what price he's going to end up at Sherwood Forest. Be interesting to see. I hope you can see the best of him again, Sherwood Forest. And you don't no room for a Camino Rocoso? I can't catch him.
Don't think you're alone there, to be fair.
Okay. Yeah, $9. I mean, he could come out and donkey lick them.
Well,
Tina Cominagi
Tina.com.
Tina.com. Like that combination a lot. So, yeah, $9 and plenty of money. So the ones we're losing on currently, or the results, the backed early Camino Rocoso, Waisaki and Akoya, all at odds in this year's Trentham Stakes. Right, guys, Group 1 time. We've come to the main event here, and it is this year's Telegraph Handicap, the JR&N Burkett Telegraph Handicap over the 1,200 metres. Surprising favourite? No. Steve?
And Trivia on the back of winning its Railway a couple of weeks ago, the talented mare, $1.50 her opening price. Ahead of Levante, $4 even. At this stage, Thaddeus, what are we looking? Friday morning, they do match dollar for dollar. So naturally, with the lay price around Levante, she holds the bigger liability v the top two in the market. But overall, this market just lacking a little bit of turnover, stifled potentially because of the gap between the top two and the rest of the field, where you see Rockin' Horse in that third line, 12 out of turn to 13. Tavi Mac, late nommed, 17, got as short as 15 back out to the original price of 17. Mascarpone, $17, not friendless, in particular in the top three market. Packing Rockstar, $21. A couple of Southerners here, Live Drama at 31, Ocean Point, $41. Can I Get an Amen at 41, and Eptimum at 51. So no strong lead. What I can say on Trivia, Levante match dollar for dollar early proceedings.
It's sort of the situation, Steve, when you see a market like this and the money isn't coming for anything else. You sort of know the price on the favourites spot on, and people are just holding their. You know, if we've got it on Trivia too short, they'd be hoeing into your Rockin' Horses, your Mascarpones, your Packing Rockstars, and that's not the case. And as you say, turnover is sort of stifled for that reason.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the key. We've seen it time and time. If we've got a favourite wrong in terms of too short, normally we're found out in the first 24 hours of trading. So, look, I think overall it's a very settled market, helped by a futures market and also what unfolded in the Railway 2 weeks ago. $1.50, $4. You may say through the betting profile of the Railway that there's too much discrepancy between Ontrivia and Levante, and the $4 might firm. I think Ontrivia will start at $1.50, $1.55 tops. She might get out to $1.60 on race day early proceedings purely on money that is getting punted around her, but at this stage we're not seeing that. But I think with her Aussie profile, she'll be very, very firm in the last 5-10 minutes of trading.
Don't need to spend much time on this, Paul.
I don't think so. Well done to those who backed on Trivia at 380 in the futures market.
Yeah.
You're well ahead of the game at the moment.
She was so good on the Railway, I should say.
I think the question is just how classy is she? As you say, that's
a good point.
That was a dominant win in the Railway. She's performed on both sides of the Tasman. The one draw, I don't know, is that a plus or a negative? Do they push forward? Does McNair hold that position there, or
excellent question.
if she gets boxed in, what happens?
Yeah, I think they tactically go forward. She's shown that tactical speed last year. For example, the Concord, she took the trail and was too good at Ellerslie. I think from barrier 1, they won't want to be 3-4 back rail and be dictated to. I think Michael, with this horse, she's shown tactical speed, not just here but across the ditch. Put her in the race, get the trail potentially behind Ocean Point. There should be a chance to get off the rail and peel off Ocean Point at some stage down the chute, but I don't think they want to be 3 back on the rail and just flop out of the machine. I think they'll want to get the trail. Rider the best horse in the field. What I loved about On Trivier, and the difference between On Trivier and Levante in the Railway 2 weeks ago, was their split between the 4 and 200. When they came around the 2,
Levante was
they
there.
basically side by side, but then between the 4 and the 2, her sectional, 1081, that's where she put Levante to bed. And the game was over in the last 100. She'd got that margin of around about 2 lengths in front of Levante. So she was electric between the 4 and 2. That was the difference there. There'll be a few people saying, look, Levante, is she better suited at Trentham? It plays as a strong 1,200 metre race. She's got form at Trentham. She's probably now looking for 1,400, which a lot of people suggest that's the ingredients to win a Telegraph. But saying that, On Trivier could be in the same boat. She was first up in the Railway. You'd say natural improvement on the back of that, even though she had a little bit of residual fitness from Sydney campaign. And she's a horse that's going to get over 7 furlongs, potentially a mile later on.
Yeah, okay. I mean, had its chance, Levante. We got the race we wanted in the Railway, didn't we, with Levante? And
it was a match race. It just wasn't quite the match race that we thought we'd get.
Yeah, exactly. She was so good. Look, if Pops was here, Paul, he'd be looking for things to put in the back end of his first 4. Top 4 bets, place bets. Well, help us out.
Yeah, I think he'd definitely play those fixed odds exotics, and he'd be going for a straight first 4.
Straight first 4.
Yeah. I think you just have On Trivier on top, and I was going to say Levante. Tavi Mack is just. I said I'm going to follow the Sherricks this time round, so I was just going to have Levante in for second, but Tavi Mack is just. I may go Tavi Mack and Levante for second with a few in behind for third and fourth, but it's very, very hard to see On Trivier getting beaten.
Yeah, extremely. Tavi Mack, there is a sprinkling there, Steve. No, where do we place Tavi Mack? I mean, he's been a little fraction in and out of recent times. He's
about a couple of lengths off where he was this time last year. You've got to remember, he started a second fave and behind Avantage in this race, the corresponding race 12 months ago, at a $4 price. He finished, I think, around about 5th or 6th from memory. He's not going as good as last year, I think, overall. The top 2 in the market, and Trivier Levante, set this field superior to 12 months ago. So, look, I can't have him. I can understand why they've chucked the late Norman, because he's a hard horse to place. I don't think he quite gets 1,600. So, in terms of a Thornton Mile, that wasn't really an option for him. His sweet spot's 1,400, which, again, we touch on. That's more how the Telegraph plays out. So, no knock there. I just don't feel he quite has the ingredients or the form line leading into this race to be the top 2 in the market.
Okay, Mascarpone's one I want to touch on. On his day, good enough to feature, I would have thought.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he won
He's a bit of an enigma, isn't he, to some degree? But
he can. I think the stable worked out best fresh, and that's why we haven't seen him for a month or so. He won the Foxbridge first up, albeit on an off track, but a similar profile, 1,200 metres at weight for age. There was no On Trivier or Levantes in that race, but he deserves his chance, and he's been well played in the top 3, top 4 market, Mascarpone, and he's got form at Trentham as well, which we know is crucial down the chute. He is the knockout blow. The key about Mascarpone, though, when he's bad, and when he's good, he's good. There's no middle ground, so you'll know your fate at the top of the straight.
Yeah, exactly. I know what he'll be if I back him. Rockin' Horse. Look, what do we make of the last start run? Probably a little bit unlucky, Paul. Rockin' Horse.
I think he can forgive, and I've definitely got there or there, but it will be in my combos and behind On Trivier.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Hey, fair enough. No, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to move the deck chairs on the Titanic here, potentially. Packing Rockstar Steve's the other one. Good win 2 starts ago, and was certainly far from disgraced, even though the top 2 were pretty clear in that railway.
Yeah, I think he maps outside Ocean Point here if they want that position outside the leader. I think that's there for the taking around Packing Rockstar. I don't think he's a 1,200 metre horse. I think he found that 1,200 metre race in the railway too sharp for him. 1,400 is his sweet spot. So this will suit in terms of that and distance, but look, he's about 3 or 4 lengths off the top two.
Okay, and Ocean Point, I see we're losing on Ocean Point. Wouldn't be the first time a Southerner has stung us in a Telegraph handicap.
No, true.
no one wants to bite at that one. The great Enzo's lad. Ocean Point's there.
Didn't learn the lesson the first time either.
No, we got exactly.
But the Southern form, I'm not quite up to date. What I will say to listeners is, from my Southern men and my team, that Live Drama is the number 1 seed in terms of performances and figures down south, and that's represented in the market. But look, he'll put himself, or Ocean Point should put herself in the race. Like I mentioned, probably the leader here. Packing Rockstay outside the lead, and I reckon on Trivier with Michael McNabb on, we'll have that trail position.
Okay, barrier 1. Is it a curse? Is it a blessing? We'll find out on Saturday afternoon. Top 4, Paul. Just surmise it. I mean, we obviously know who's on top here.
On Trivier, look, I'm going to throw Tavi Mack in for second, Levante for third.
That money. Sorry, Levante for third. Carry on.
And Rockin' Horse.
Okay. Gee, it'll be great to see her come out and do the business and try and emulate Avantage, Steve, and maybe try.
I don't think it happened for 20 odd years. There was a gap in the early 2000s where the same horse won the Railway, and the Telegraph name escapes me, for the O'Sullivan Scott stable, or the O'Sullivan stable back then. But we may have back-to-back coming out of the Te Akau barn within 12 months.
Bala Waxana, was it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've still got it. Righto, guys, it's going to be a great day on Trivier. It would be great to hear. I hope Levante gives her a race, and I'm sure that she will. Right, interesting times now. Special guest time on the leg up. Would you believe? We'll probably do a few of these over the next wee while. Get a special guest on, and look, there's certain things that become synonymous with certain events. And look, Father Christmas, Santa Claus at Christmas. I'll talk about BGP and Karaka Million. They've become synonymous. We've got Luke Kemeys with us, I believe. G'day, Luke. Good morning to you. Or good morning still. Yes, it is. Look, how's the excitement levels, Luke? Building to a week away.
Yeah, very, very high, mate. I'll be forgiven too for not knowing if it's the morning or the afternoon. But yeah, really looking forward to next week. Exciting time of the year. Starting to wake up at all hours of the night and dreaming of different horses running second. So just need to get rid of those nightmares and start finding where the winners are.
You guys have really sort of made this day, on some degree, your own in a lot of respects, and it's really turned into a flagship day for BGP and everything that you guys stand for. You must be sort of proud of that, obviously.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially this time of year. Like, it's a weird feeling. I got around over the country a little bit, for a couple of weeks in summer, and you just about can't go anywhere this time of year without getting recognised or seeing someone that wants to talk racing. And it's a pretty cool feeling. That was what it was all about. And to have people coming from all over the country and have 850 people in that room, and we'll have probably 5,000 people in that punters club come Saturday. It's a big amount of people, and I'm pretty proud, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%. Question, Steve, for Luke. Well, we've got him here.
Yeah, g'day, Luke. A question to you around the selection format. Your panel, is it 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 individuals come Karaka Million night trying to back a winner? And if there is a multiple number of people selecting, are you divided into particular races? For example, one individual will put their focus on the Karaka Million 2-year-old race, so to speak, or how does that all work out? Because there's going to be a lot of money invested in this syndicate that are outside the BGP community for this particular day. So maybe just give us an overall profile on those individuals that are going to be making the hard calls on Saturday week. Yeah,
so myself, Ted McLaughlin, and then Andrew Lacey are all involved in the selections. We've been doing this for 4 years prior, and this will be our 5th year. Usually what we do is we do our form individually and then come together and figure out, right, who likes what. We start getting a feel for that, already now when we're looking at these 2-year-old and 3-year-old races, and sort of, having a few phone calls about what we might want to have an early crack at if the odds and draws go the right way. But really, like, we wait till the barrier draws are done, then we'll get our heads together. And every now and then there'll be a race that one of us may not be keen on at all, and someone will put their hand up and say, yep, like I'll take that one. We did try and divide it up one year. But yeah, it does become a challenge, but we get to a point where we're basically all in agreement that whoever decides for that race, that's where the money's going, then we're fully in behind it. But yeah, it's a tricky one to get 100% right, and obviously with hindsight too, it can be hard, but it's worked pretty well so far.
No, 100%. And look, the atmosphere you guys bring to the track, some of the pictures we get via trackside of you guys. And how many did you say you've got it coming on Saturday week? 850.
Yeah, 850. Then I think we start to breach the fire warden's rules in the room. So that's the capacity.
Willie Wilcox will be right on top of that, I'm sure. But what are you expecting in the syndicate this year in terms of dollar value? What's the aim, or what are you expecting to get? I'm not sure where you're going to land, but we've had a few chats around the office about it.
Yeah, well, I guess now that it's going through you guys, it's a little bit easier for people to get involved. So that means that the accessibility increases. So I think we'll get a lot more people than we've ever had before. And I think we're just about there in terms of numbers of people already getting involved. But I've set a goal of 500,000. That's pretty ambitious and going to give us a lot of ammo to be shooting bullets at you guys with, which is what we want. But yeah, I genuinely think that we'll probably end up with a pool starting with a 4 in front of it. And that last 48 hours is obviously when it really goes nuts with people rounding out their accounts and things. We had 275,000 in the lockdown punters club that we did with a week lead in. We'll be pumping. We've got about 20 videos to roll out next week as well. All of that stuff builds hype, and we'll be going pretty hard next week. So if we can get 500,000, I'll be a very proud lad. Then it'll be about trying to figure out how to spend it.
Oh, 500. Do you reckon you get to 500,000? That's a big number.
I have no doubt.
I'm not ruling out anything when it comes to BGP.
But well, it's super easy to actually deposit.
Onto the website.
Yeah, just head to TAB website, head to the Punters Lounge and click on the Boys Get Paid Punters Club, and then you can deposit as much as you like in.
I don't know if they're going to get to 500,000.
Have we got a running total?
I think I just think we're up into the high,
70s,
nearly at 100, nearly ticking over 100. I don't know about 500,000. Look, Luke, I'll tell you what, we've had a bit of a chat around here. I want to give you a stretch target. I don't think you're going to get there, 500,000. If you guys can get to 500,000, the TAB will throw in a $50,000 bonus bet for you.
No.
So that is the deal. That's the carrot. I'm suggesting that.
I got to go. I've got a lot of work to do. That's wrong.
$50,000 bonus bet, Luke, if you can get there. I don't believe you can. But best of luck to you and your team on Karaka Million night. And do we wish them good luck, Steve? Paul? I suppose
Absolutely.
Do we do?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Big time, yeah.
No.
I really hope we get the 500,000 now, because I want to see what happens with this 50k bonus bet.
Goes on the J Challenge.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
right. We'll talk the logistics closer to the time. But yeah, 50,000. If you can get it to 500,000, Luke, there you go.
All right, boys. I appreciate the challenge. I'm about to call Brendan Lindsay, so I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for your time and best of luck. Okay, boys. Time to let Luke go, and we thank him for his time. There we go. 50k bonus bet, Paul. You'd be loving to see that, wouldn't you?
Well, there's the budget gone.
Yeah, exactly. I used your marketing budget for that.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, let's get the 500,000.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah, it's a stretch target, but it's what we're supposed to be. I don't think you're going to get there. I don't think they're going to get there. So that's why I've managed to put that out there. Righto, boys. We better get back to Trentham for a roundup and bets of the daytime. Paul, we'll start with you. Where are you going for your bet of the day?
I'll go to Trentham and the Wellington guineas. I really like the look of Parianui Bay at around the even money. So, yep, Parianui Bay for me.
Okay, even money. Steve, what did you settle on for your bet of the day?
Yeah, I'll go to the Trentham Stakes race 7 over the 2,100 metre journey. House of Cartier, as I mentioned earlier, she's the best placed horse up and down the country on Saturday. House of Cartier, highest rated galloper, 1 kg off the minimum at set weights and penalties. This is her sweet spot, House of Cartier, so I'm with her at $2.70.
Yeah, okay, $2.70, nice price. Don't mind that. That's double Paranui Bay House of Cartier. We're going to get $5 plus. So I'll be happy to have a little bit of that. The team did BP leave us with anything? No, just left us in the lurch.
I did send a message, but no,
Nothing come through.
Things.
Okay, I've got a couple of minutes. We forgot to talk about the Karaka Million market, Steve, just ever so briefly. Where do they sit? There's the 2-year-old for us on screen. And Wolverine, look, done everything right. $3.40. It's just eased over a little bit of time.
It has. Just debriefing what's happened in the last 7 days. Good win from Wolverine. Got it in the room, but was still a very good performance. Was a bunch finish. And they didn't smash the clock on New Year's Day. So $2.80 around about 10 days ago around Wolverine post that victory. Just eased out to $3.40 on a couple of factors. One around the Wolverine factor and the overall figure it produced. not flash, but also a couple of performances that have happened just in the last 7 to 10 days. Grayson Gray, Fellini was very impressive last Sunday when beating a stablemate which is touted to be a very progressive type, and Time Flies.
Yeah,
So
Time Flies. Will it make the field?
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. Time Flies. They might have to jig a few gear changes around Time Flies and maybe just ride in that neutral position. They've been quite aggressive out of the machine, so maybe a couple of options there around Time Flies, but has Jamie to work all that out. Dynastic. I think the key around finding that second elect will be down to Opie Bosson. So Opie had a choice on the back of his suspension last Sunday to ride on Saturday for Telegraph on Trivier, or ride Karaka Million night. So obviously that decision was made between him and D. Ellis potentially, and Jamie, and they've decided to opt for the Karaka Million, which we know he missed last year. So where he decides in terms of his engagement may lean towards that second elect in behind Wolverine, but overall I think it's a very competitive race, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's 5 or 6 horses that come out on top.
I think he just missed that BGP chart, hasn't he? There's only one over Boston. Didn't want to miss it 2 years in a row.
I'm fairly certain we'll be hearing it in a few days' time.
The odd occasion. And the 3-year-old, Steve, we've got a $1.70 favourite on the bubbles, haven't we? $1.80, sorry, I think.
$1.70 prior to the trial on Wednesday at Mudda. Look, it wasn't flash on the eye, but maybe if you took the $1.70 or $1.80, $1.90 in the last 7 to 10 days, you'd be a little bit nervous, but there's some nice tickets on the bubbles, and regardless of how he trialled during the week, there's some very good tickets. I think opened at around about $6 on the bubbles. So look, he's never been a flash trialer. I think he's had 8 trials all up on the bubbles, has won 1 of them. So he's not a horse that goes out and really dominates trials on the bubbles. So but again, on the eye, it was a... Well, how did you assess the trial? Because you saw the trial in the office.
Look, they were open class horses. There was a Group 1 winner that won it. He had to come wide, or relatively wide on the corner, and sort of peaked at the 100, I thought. So I don't think it's probably potentially as bad as some people have been suggesting.
Absolutely, 100%.
And as I say, I don't think he trialled that well leading into his first up run this time in, and then he came out and second up and blew them away at Ellerslie and beat Paranui Bay, who we think is going to bolt in on the weekend. So, I've got $1.80. It'll be interesting to see where this market shapes up. Righto, boys. Promotions time, Paul. TAB Promotions, what have you got for us for the weekend? I think we've only got
I've got nothing now. You're giving a $50K bonus bet away to the Boys Get Paid Punters Club.
They're not going to get there. They're not going to get to 500.
Okay, so tomorrow we'll be having a bonus back promotion on races 1, 2, 3 and 4 from both Trentham and the Gold Coast. Of course, it's
Magic
Millions Day over at the Gold Coast. Good luck to the connections of Bright Blue Sky.
For sure.
In the 2-year-old classic.
Okay, so first 4 at Trentham, first 4 Gold Coast.
Bonus back.
Okay, lovely. We'll get stuck into those. Steve, thanks for your time, as always. Looking forward to tomorrow. You'll be in the office.
I will be. Always love this carnival. It's our home ground at 30th.
It is. We love it. Grew up on it, so we always look forward to it. Thanks, Paul, for your efforts. You're going to be our eyes and ears on course.
I'll be on course.
for the first couple of races.
Let's get to a $500,000. The Boys Get Paid Punters Club. $500,000.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to happen. Thank you, lads. Our first live show. BP's going to be back next week, so things will be a heck of a lot easier.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. He'll save us. But we'd like you to join us again, if you can, in 7 days' time on the Leg Up.